Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is the pilot first episode of the Lapointe Insurance Agency Podcast. That's a working title.
It's gonna be great, I swear.
Gets better all the time.
I'm John Lapointe.
I'm Bill Lapointe.
I'm Rick Lima.
And today we're going to be talking about service centers and how our agency has used carrier service centers and some of the benefits that we've found of working with service centers with our carriers.
A lot goes into making the decision. We have been through it now with 5 different carriers, so we think we can bring you some useful information.
And let's see if your agency can use the benefits of a service center.
Hey, thanks for watching. We're ready to jump in. All things service centers here with the Lapointe Insurance boys.
Here we go.
All right, so yeah, we're talking about service centers, and well, for maybe there's agents out there who don't even know like what a service center is. So let's jump into that. What even is a service center?
I mean, a lot of businesses use them now. I know banks have what they call client contact center, or insurance companies have been using them for a while. Essentially, it's the carrier staff servicing your clients directly. Yeah.
And so you basically the carriers will service your clients for you. Somebody calls in and says, I need an update on my car. I got a new car. I need to add that to my policy.
Right.
Instead of somebody in our office handling that, we send them over to the Mafre service team, and they take that call, represent us as the agent essentially, and take care of that policy
Yep,
change for them. Like that.
the ones we deal with anyway, they're all licensed individuals that work there. Most of them, they all have multilingual staff, which is great. You know, Spanish, Portuguese. So they can handle anything you're doing in the office. They can handle, and let's face it, they're directly, in real time. They're the one. It's their database that they're working on.
Yeah, and so obviously to do that, there's a cost associated with it because we're offloading some of the cost on our end. But usually, is it a standard, or does it depend on your book size, or?
It does vary. I mean, up to 2% of annual commission with some carriers, as low as 1% with others. And so 1 to 2% of your book. If you do the math, typically comes out to what you'd be paying 2 or 3 account managers. And so look at
For the right book could be the right move.
Yeah, look at as a simple down and dirty finance calculation. It's simple. The bigger questions are whether it's a good fit for your agency, whether you really need one, might it dilute your brand. Those are the questions everybody struggles with.
Yeah, and I think it's a great fit for our agency because our leads are coming from mortgage lenders, people buying homes. So the auto comes with that, but we're able to in-house focus on that, which is exactly what we want to do.
The sales.
The sales part. And then, Bill told us before, we're writing, 400 to 500 new accounts a month. You have to hire an account manager how often to do that?
Well, you hit it on the head. The thing is, when you look at best practices, like the IIABA best practices summary, a really good account manager handles 800 to 1,000 accounts. Well, we're adding 400. Last month we added 600 accounts in 1 month. Forget it. We'd be hiring an account manager every
month and a half.
Yeah.
So now you're doing that math of all right, it costs 2%, 2 account managers. Well, that's a hell of a lot cheaper for us.
Let's face it. For us, it was
the
a
physical
big
plant
problem.
cost too,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's just
For us, it was a no-brainer. Just because we couldn't hire enough.
Yeah,
people right
and
now.
we use virtual assistants too, and we'll probably touch on that in a future podcast. But the service centers really have been a big help to us. And I want to just jump back to kind of when we first started considering using service centers and some of the things that we were going through in that decision-making process. Obviously, for us, we had a big push because we had such a need. Our agency was growing so quickly that we were kind of forced to do something besides just hire more people. But just kind of like some of the pros and cons. And I remember having some of those discussions going way back.
Yeah, we were worried that clients would feel like you're just putting them off to a service center.
Right, you call the office, hi, I'm Jim, I needed some help with my car insurance policy. And what does the person in our office say?
So we work on it. They don't say that. Yeah.
Right.
So what do they say versus what we should say?
Yeah, right, exactly. But no, it's that transfer is the huge part of it.
That's
you're
the biggest part.
You don't want to say, hey, sorry, I don't do that anymore. You got to call these people.
Exactly. You exactly don't want to say that. But so what we've come to, the part we've started using is to say, Now, first, we always want to hear what the client needs. So listen to what it is they're asking. We look up whether that client is, in fact, in a service center or still handled in-house. Not all our carriers have service centers. And if it is with a service center, the line is usually something like, okay, I'm going to put you in touch now with the person who handles that transaction, and anything you need after that conversation, feel free to call me right back. But the service centers, first of all, are all very sensitive to this. All of our service center, carrier-based service centers, answer by saying Lapointe Insurance. They answer with the agency name. Some will say Lapointe Insurance powered by Travelers. How can I help you? But they mention the name. They're part of our team. And let's face it, I've told clients, when you call me, you know I'm not the one actually processing your work.
Right.
I'm not lying to you. I'm not the one who plugs this into the system after. I'm happy to speak with you, see what you need, and then I ask someone in my office to take care of it.
Delegate it somewhere.
I'm just doing the same thing.
Yeah, right.
So it's really no different. People, I think once you get your arms around that, you can decide how you want to get that across to your client. But that's the fact.
Yeah, definitely. I remember we were concerned about it, and I think, Rick, you and I had the conversation, right? And it was like, but my question wasn't, hey, like, are we worried about how clients going to be put off? Are we worried about, it was, are they going to do a better job servicing the clients than we can with our current staffing and current processes?
Yeah, I remember, we had that combo, and I was definitely, I guess skittish would be the word, because we knew we had to do it, and then we're like, all right, well, I just really hope it works out, because now you have 5 different service centers of 5 different companies, and you're like, all right, are they gonna, because I used to be really hands-on with everything, and then we're at a point where we just can't. I realize we can't do everything. So not only are they, I think, they're better fit, and it's getting done on the spot. Like it's incredible. So I'm very happy we did it.
Yeah, part of it was we began the transition to what we wanted to be, which was a digital agency, right? We began that even before we needed to and started to consider service centers. So we were ready for this whole digital transformation. And that's something where the service centers were way ahead of us. Obviously, they had more resources and technology to put into that earlier than we did. So that part of the transfer went very well. It goes seamlessly. And when you talk about the additional benefit there, Rick, remember they have expanded hours too that we again couldn't really afford to staff. Some of these are open.
Nights and weekends.
Yeah, first of all, nights and weekends. And that's not just their claims department. This is someone who's at an automobile dealership buying a car on a Saturday afternoon and wants to get it on the road. And they reach a person from Lapointe Insurance, powered by Mafre, who gets it done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a really big benefit to the clients as well.
I think it was more of an adjustment. You went from, it's a family agency here, and you guys went from being that neighborhood insurance agent, people walking in all the time and seeing somebody, and we were obviously moving away from that with what Johnny and I started doing anyway, but I think it was a huge adjustment for our staff more than anything of, I don't need to do this with this client. There's somebody better to do it.
And a little bit for clients too. Because don't get me wrong, there's still clients who you can hear it. We don't really have a lot of walls in this office, so you can hear how those conversations are going.
And if we
with
do,
the client,
they're halfway up for some reason.
But you can tell when the conversation's going a little sideways that the person really wishes they could come in and talk to their person to handle that, or they didn't like that idea. But I think of it as like a value proposition, and our value proposition, and every insurance agency, family-owned agency ever, when they say for years their value proposition is, oh, we're a local family-run agency, or we're in your backyard, we're your local friends, right?
Literally in your backyard.
And the thing is that target demo right there of people who value that is getting smaller and smaller every day. Yeah. What people really value is calling somebody who's going to be able to help them do what they need done. They don't care where you are. They just want you to be friendly. They want you to be helpful.
Bill could probably give us the specs on the age of the book, like when we started doing this compared to now.
Well, it's changed dramatically, but John's right. The aha moment for me was when we started dealing with more and more millennials. And I was dealing with a small business owner who's in his early 30s, and I asked him to come in and sign the paperwork, and he said, I have to come in? And that's when I realized, not only did people not miss that they stopped in by the office, a lot of them don't want it.
It's actually easier. Yeah.
They're like, he said, I can't just DocuSign that? And
Yeah.
I said, well, of course you can.
Yeah.
So we sent it out with, first-time payment.
And it's just getting comfortable with that realization, I think, of saying, if you're the client who wants to come into my office and sit down and go through everything on paper and take up an hour to go through a meeting and do everything that way, we're not the best fit for you anymore.
Exactly.
And we may have for a long time been that, but we're not anymore. But what we are now is a really great fit for a much bigger group of people.
Yeah.
And service centers, they play such a huge role in that.
It's not like we haven't had any bumps.
I was going to bring
bumps.
that up next.
No, there were definitely bumps.
Let's talk about some of the challenges.
Yeah, I mean, so when we transfer, when the call's being transferred to the other department that will handle the service, we like to have the client relations manager stay on the line.
That's our CSR.
The CSR, we have CRM, client relationship manager. Stay on the line until they answer, Lapointe Insurance service. Sometimes they've been on the line for 5 minutes.
Well, on hold, you mean? Or?
Too long.
Yeah.
Way too long
Yeah.
before they get through.
Or before they cut the cord
Yeah.
on our end, right?
Yeah.
You'd like to say on our end, right? Yeah, exactly.
It
At a certain
should be
point.
transferred within 10 seconds.
And so if the
a
service
minute's
center's
okay,
not,
but 10 minutes.
So after like a minute on hold, we'd ideally want to say, or a couple minutes on hold, say, okay, they must be at a peak call time right now. Hey, let me try and get them on the line and call you back.
Yeah, or what I ask them to say is something like, seems like they're really tied up with other clients right now. Let me, why don't I hang up with you as soon as they're available? I'll get back to you. Yeah. And, but that's definitely. That has happened, and I think the service centers have had some trouble with staffing, especially during the pandemic. They had people working remotely, so transfers didn't go quite as smoothly. But that's really something you can overcome, with it. The other thing is we get a lot of information. They're really good with the analytics. They can tell us call time, call volume, hold
you can
time.
You can even get recordings of all the calls.
If you want to listen in, you can listen in. Recordings, yep. So we're really only learning to use that data more effectively by reaching back to the service center and saying, looks like every Wednesday there's a little something going on here with wait times. You're short-staffed on Wednesdays, but we can really drill down on that information and make the most of it.
Yeah, and I think 'cause I remember you and Sue had a bunch of meetings with them to kind of to work them into our process.
When you get started, we probably should have brought that up. When you get started with the service center, first of all, they love you. They want you to join.
Right.
So they send people down. You can visit the service center. You can listen in on live calls. I'm doing this because they put.
That's what the headphones look like.
I was wondering what he was doing.
It's a monkey
You're no
see
evil.
much, yeah. So you can listen in, and so they want to make this as smooth and efficient as possible. But they ask you, how you'd like them to address your client, how you want them to answer the calls. If you have a significant portion of your client base that is bilingual or first language is not English, so they really tailor it to.
That's awesome.
What you're trying to do.
I know for us, it was obviously the growth of the agency that really, it was a necessity, like you just said, for us to be starting to use service centers and really, needed to do that. But for other agents that might be listening, what do you think are some of the other things that may be a reason why they want to look into start using?
Well, probably a refocus on sales. I think some agents get, they've grown the business, they reached the point where they have nice retention and a good book of business, and they forget that there's still a lot of opportunity out there. So
So they were marketing the policies every year.
Yeah, they just work in that same book all the time. Well, let the carriers help you do that and refocus on sales and build a book.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people that have been here for 20, 30 years, and there's 20 different companies, so every company has different discounts and stuff. So who better to know what discounts they have than the company themselves?
Yeah.
So that's what I see as a huge advantage. Also, So.
Well, I think true. It's kind of just true to the role of an independent agent. At the end of the day, we are, in my opinion, a sales organization. Our income is based on sales. It's commission. The revenue generated is commissions. It's sales. And so, focus on that and utilize other resources to help you with the service.
Maximize that
Don't
sales
let
potential.
that slow you down from being able to do the other stuff.
Well
I
said.
think you build a better rapport with the carrier. The carriers realize you're focusing on sales, and that's what they're looking for. And,
Right.
And they do like the idea that you're giving them the service piece. Let's face it, the carriers do feel they have a little more control over it. But there's never a reason to fear that you lose control of your book, because it's clearly written in the agreement. You can move the book out of the service center and out of those carriers anytime. So I think if it's a refocus on sales, the other thing is to do the cost analysis. Think of all that goes into maintaining a workforce. Your salary, benefits, employment practices. All the HR things that a business owner has to put up with.
Equipment,
Yeah,
right?
that's right too. Everybody needs their own PC and software.
And right, user agreement cost for every single software that you use.
Oh, it's more than just what the salary of that one, CSR or account manager or whatever you call them in your agency. There's a lot more to it once you start thinking about it, and it really frees you up to do what you can most productively do. I mean, you started in the agency business because you were good at sales, and this gets you back out on the road.
That old saying, do what you do best, right?
Yeah. Focus
Let
on
somebody else
focus
do
on
the
your
other
strong points.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thank you everybody for listening and watching us here. This has been fun. Really appreciate you listening to this information about service centers, and we've found a lot of benefits out of using the service centers. Hopefully, for your agency, is something you consider too. You can consider too if you're going through some of the same things that we did. And till next time, we'll be back with some great topics in the future.